Welcome back to another episode of Psycosmos. Today's episode will be about sex! That's right, you heard me. Time to talk about the birds and the bees. This episode will revolve around the good and the bad of sexualization and how it impacts the vitality of your health. So strap yourself in and enjoy the ride. Sex. Everyone wants it, but simps can't get it. What makes sex so damn desirable? Naturally, anyone could tell you the role that biology plays when it comes to sex, sexual chemistry, sexual orientation, gender, etc. I'm here to share a wealth of knowledge with you revolving around the human body, your sexual habits, and why this is crucially important to your mental, physical, and even spiritual development. Let's start off with men. For men, sex has always been an inherent motivator. Maybe not so much the act itself, but more so the physical love and appreciation from a woman and the consistency that goes along with that. Whether you look at politicians, CEOs, actors, rappers, or just the common guy at a sports bar, sex is seen as an ultimate goal. This is a biological response to an internal need to reproduce, naturally, of course, but when we look at psychology, we see that most adolescent men actually fear women up until a certain point, where they may eventually gain the amount of confidence they need to pursue the woman of their desires. This is due to men putting women on a pedestal and has many links to how men view their mothers growing up throughout their lives.
Men use the image of female perfection to motivate themselves, and that's exactly right. I think modern women don't really understand about men. They don't understand that, at least to the degree that males are uncorrupted and not bitter because of being rejected, they're doing everything they can to kneel before the eternal image of the feminine.
Many men are so unaware of the amount of control that they give to their sexual urges that some men allow it to take over their conscious decisions, resulting in anything from catcalling all the way to sexual assault. However, if we look at the more spiritual aspect of this duality, we will find that men are generally an electric force in the electromagnetic universal dualship of things. What I mean by this is that men generally are the pursuers, the penetrators, or the heroes, chasing after the women as their prize, especially if they are fueled by ego. This ego is what devastates a man's carnal energy, and I'll explain why as we go through this video. All throughout history, there have been tales of male heroes overcoming beasts of fiction and myth, especially vicious beasts such as giant serpents. For example, the Greco-Roman mythos of Hercules or Heracles, where he slays the many-headed Hydra, or perhaps the reverse of this, the image of Mother Mary holding baby Jesus away from the evil serpent. Regardless of what medium, what this serpent generally represents all throughout multiple cultures is temptation. This is why you see strong, muscular men conquering the beast, as the serpent is not only reflected to be the speaker of lies and temptation, but it is also the keeper of secrets, dissuading men to find true happiness through immediate means. The serpent is also represented in the human body as being related to not only the kundalini, which is a neural pathway to control energy within the human body through mental activation and meditation concentrated via the coccyx bone. You heard that right, big boy, the coccyx bone. But when we take a look at one of the oldest forms of spirituality, being the zodiac, we can see that the members of antiquity deferred the scorpion and the serpent to the area of the sky dealing with the genitals in relation to the human body. If you don't understand that last part, look into a book called The Light of Egypt by Thomas Burgoyne, where he explains in one section of his book the importance of semen retention, commonly referred to today as nofap. Here's where the guys in the audience start throwing rocks covered in dirty tissues at me. Semen retention is crucial to a male's human development. If you study semen retention, you'll find so many vital, important sources and treasure troves of information about why this practice is pertinent to the male mind. However, I will sum it up in a few short sentences to save some time. Semen is a chemical which utilizes CSF, which is also known as cerebrospinal fluid, within the body for its production. CSF is a life-changing, mind-altering chemical, as generally speaking, the more you have and can make in your body, the longer your body can take care of itself. If you waste your CSF, being your semen, by constantly performing acts that are unneeded and too often, it will make a massive impact on your mental capabilities and overall physical health. The mental factor is due to the excessive amount of blood flow from the brain and body to the genitals for such acts. This can result in things such as the weakening of the immune system or cognitive decline. The physical aspect is due to the rich vitamins and minerals that a man can harness while practicing semen retention, as he will have more energy, be more motivated in his works, and have a higher level of testosterone. Not to mention that men who masturbate more often are more prone to such things as anxiety, depression, low testosterone, hair loss, and other undesirable side effects. Two things stand out to me the most in the Bible about this. Everyone should know the quote, "Your body is a temple," which is absolutely true. From our research, physical and mental health are both crucial for overall spiritual development. Additionally, though, there's one more story in the Bible of a man named Onan, who in Genesis 38:9-10 spilled his seed on the ground, resulting in the Lord striking him down dead. Now, does that mean that God will kill you if you don't practice semen retention? Of course not. That's ridiculous. What this does imply is that the more you waste your nutrients, the closer you bring yourself to death, and the further you bring yourself from God, as the people who truly relish in God's creation have no need for temptations such as casual sex or masturbation. Men obviously need to ejaculate, so what is the true answer here? Obviously, men can't go their whole lives without ejaculating because not only is that unhealthy, but the entire species would die. Most men cannot be like psychologist Sigmund Freud, who went almost his whole adult life and elderly life being chaste and refraining from sexual intercourse with his wife. Funny how that guy also enjoyed the zodiac and also talked a lot about sex. If you want my personal opinion, this is what I personally recommend. If you haven't seen our videos on the sacred secretion, sexual alchemy plays a vital role in the creation of specific germs within your body, which assists in your overall development and life longevity. If you practice this and look into it, you can learn when your specific timing is based on some of the information we have provided in previous videos, which I'll put on the screen now. If you learn when your sacred secretion window is, you can also learn when the opposite of that window would be in relation, about roughly 2 weeks after your sacred secretion time. Think of it similarly to how women have a menstrual and ovulation cycle. If you do it right, with the right research, it should be safe for you to take part in activities possibly roughly once a month, provided you have protection, of course. In short, men, it is time to stop cooming and start doing. There have been many studies showing the effects of pornography on the male mind and how it impacts their relations and opinions on women. Fight the urges, fight the temptation, and take care of yourself. You owe yourself the best life that you can possibly have, and as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Moving on to the ladies. Naturally, semen retention does not affect you in the same way. However, speaking of fertility cycles, how about Dr. Eugen Jonas and his work? I hope I'm saying that right. Dr. Jonas, or Dr. Jonas, was able to figure out that a woman's fertility cycle is synced up to the moon with an accuracy of 98%. And I have cross-referenced this with many female friends who were nice enough to give me some semi-personal information about their times of the month. Although birth control is a right for every woman, it can have some serious consequences on their body and mind if you don't do the proper research. For example, mentally, when a woman is on birth control, she will go after lower testosterone men compared to higher testosterone men. Additionally, there are many scientific studies that claim BC may impact a woman's cognitive development. Putting all of that aside, however, let's take a look at the physical aspects of how it impacts a woman's fertility cycle. I'm sure I don't have to explain this to women, of course, but many women, I'm sure, listening have had situations where their period cycles synced up with another woman. Well, every single one of us has a force field of energy around us. This was proven to us by the CIA in the 1980s. And if it interacts with a close object who is giving off a signal to begin their cycle, other women may pick up on this signal as well. Does it make sense scientifically, though? Yes, it does, which is why I referenced Dr. Jonas before. He discovered that whichever phase the moon is in at a woman's birth is when a woman will ovulate on that same phase of the moon after they hit puberty. For a woman who has an unregulated cycle, that is. In other words, if you were born on a full moon, that is more than likely the time around in which you will ovulate, as the female's menstrual cycle is 28 days, which is the same as the moon's cycle. In addition, spiritually, the moon has been linked to women and children in many religions and spiritualities as goddesses and figures. Women are seen as more of a magnetic force in the dichotomy of sex, and much of it has to do with biological and metaphysical elements. Most heterosexual women will often prefer the stronger male than the weaker for many reasons related to genetics and biology and such, but the act should still not be overlooked. Even in a society which is more diverse and open now more than ever before, women still on average prefer to be the pursued rather than the pursuer. This is why our engagement ceremony, even through all of the diversity we've been able to include about gender stereotyping and all these wonderful conversations, still relatively remains the same. A majority of women prefer to be engaged to. They don't prefer to be the engager. I have my own theories on this on an individual level, such as the influence of zodiacal signs, and I've done a lot of research on this, bear in mind. If you didn't know, the zodiac is broken into male and female categories, and this could explain many theories as to why some people are more masculine or feminine on the spectrum than others. When it comes to the sacred secretion, however, I believe Burgoyne put it best when he stated that a woman goes through her sacred secretion cycle during her period, which is when she is surrounded by temptations and desires to escape the pain that she feels. This is essentially when a woman's body is the most vulnerable, so this is much easier for a woman to track compared to a man, and a lot of this science is still being understood today. They don't call it Mother Earth for nothing, I suppose, which is probably why it may be easier for women to understand their times of the month in accordance with the universe compared to men. In short, during menstrual cycle is when a woman should avoid sexual activity, avoid alcohol, and avoid external pleasures, and seek to find peace within. Whereas during ovulation is when a woman should be most comfortable partaking in sexual activity. But I really didn't need to tell you that. Speaking on both fronts, if you read through the Kama Sutra, which is an Indian book based off of sexual positions and energy mastery, it isn't just a bunch of spicy sexual positions. It also details how sexual alchemy and sexual chemistry are vital for both people's overall experience during coitus. Men using their electric phallus penetrating object are actually able to take some of the excess energy of the magnetic enveloping womb and redirect that energy within both bodies. This is ancient wisdom from the members of antiquity. If orgasm is reached, the Egyptians, for example, believed that energy would flow out of the body through the head, or for the Hindus, the crown chakra, which can be explained by the head rush we sometimes feel once we hit that mark. If you perform the acts properly, the energy should come back in a healthy, digestible manner. If, however, your intentions are not pure when fornicating, then the energy can subsequently be lost, and you will feel lesser than before over time. If you take a look at how both men and women fare over the course of their lives in relation to their sexual partners, by also mixing a massive amount of psychological study with that, you'll see that the more sexual partners a person has, the more likely they are to have an unstable relationship or marriage in the future, even for men. All of this is something that we should be keeping a very open mind about. So, final concluding statement here. Make sure that you enjoy your life and you enjoy sex in moderation. That's kind of the whole key here. If you go and waste much of your key nutrients and energy, you're going to find that it will not bring you the happiness that you desire. Only by looking within can you find that true happiness. And no, that's not a sexual euphemism or some kind of joke. I mean, like, actually looking within. Don't shove fingers where they don't need to be, please.
I understand about kids. The most important thing in the world. They come first.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. Comment down below what your thoughts on sex are and tell us what's new. Support us on Patreon with the link below and check us out on all of our social media. Thanks, guys. Take care. Enjoy your day.